So I want to talk about the trailer for The Mandalorian Season 3. It did drop a few days ago, was unable to do a video on it, but today I'm doing a video on it. I feel like The Mandalorian has been the one piece of consistent Star Wars that has been, well, consistent since the Disney purchase of Lucasfilm. You know, the movies, we've talked about that to death already. The other shows, Book of Boba Fett, Obi-Wan, there were good and bad points to each show. I feel like now that a few more months has passed, I think I look back a bit more fondly on Obi-Wan, not so much because of some of the mistakes they made, which are still there, but because I really appreciate how good of an actor Ewan McGregor is. Like, he really carried that show. Like, he really did. Like, the more, and I said that in my review, but the more I think about it, the more it's like, damn, like, you know, this guy elevated the show. So, Mandalorian has been consistently good. Very few, I mean, I can't think of a single bad episode. There's a couple of weaker episodes. Very few bad moments. Some truly legendary ones. It's a show you can watch from start to finish, season 1, season 2, find enjoyment out of. It captures both, like, Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni were able to capture both the Jedi lore side of Star Wars, which is my favorite thing, the Force, things like that. Also mixing it in with the, the cantina, underground sort of scum and villainy side of Star Wars, which I also love. And they've done a great job. With this trailer, though, it seems like the story, and we talked about this back when Mandalorian Season 2 ended, and I think they're going in this direction, is going to be the Mandalorian's return to Mandalore. Mandalore was seized by the Empire many, many years ago, and I believe the story they're going to go with, and I talked about this before too, but some of y'all didn't see that video, is I think they're going to really focus on Mandalore being freed. Because you have to remember, even though the Empire was beaten at the end of Return of the Jedi, the Empire still existed. Obviously, some folks consider that non-canon because it's Disney Star Wars. I mean, you do whatever you want, but in the Disney canon, which Mandalorian is a part of, that's what happened. And as a result of that being what happened, the Star Wars saga, and even though I don't like the fact that I don't like the sequel trilogy and what they did, the Star Wars saga under Disney pretty much told us that the Imperial Remnant was still an issue. And Mandalore seems to be one of those planets that's still under their control. Not to mention that you've got all kinds of rumors about Grand Admiral Thrawn and what he might do, being one of the final remaining members of the Empire. So there was some pretty cool stuff there. We also get to see Grogu doing the Force. You know, I saw on Twitter Josh from the Den of Nerds YouTube channel talking about how he was wondering if he thinks that Grogu's kind of jumped the shark. And I don't know about that. Like, that's a good question. I think that Grogu's still pretty popular based on the Disney merch sales. But here's the question. What more can they do with the character? We saw at the end of Season 2 of Mandalorian that Luke took him. But unfortunately, you know, that's not where the story continued. It was a great episode of Book of Boba Fett when, you know, basically Baby Yoda, Grogu, chose to go back with Din Djarin because that's like his father figure. That pretty much is his dad, you know what I mean? And that, to me, makes me wonder, okay, where are they going with this character? If he's not going to train with Luke, is he going to learn the Force? Is he, like, where's this going to go? So that, to me, is something worth noting. Also, there was a scene in the trailer that showed, and they did a really good job with this trailer of not giving too much away. Like, it was very much, and one thing you have to give them credit for, is they've done this with all the Star Wars movies, even the ones that aren't very good, is that in the trailers, they show you visuals, because Star Wars is a very, very much a visual medium. The look and sound, the aesthetics of Star Wars has always been uncanny. So they give you all these different visuals of, you know, ships flying and warriors and guys in armor and all that stuff. And obviously there was a storyline in the Book of Boba Fett episodes about Din Djarin going back home and, you know, sort of reclaiming his respect, for lack of a better term. So that's definitely happening. That's without question. He's going back to Mandalore, and I can't wait to see it. It's our first look that I can remember. I can't remember it ever being shown before in a live action setting. They've had Mandalore in some of the TV shows, the Clone Wars and stuff like that. We've seen that, Rebels, but not in live action. So that's pretty exciting for those people who love Mandalorian lore. But what I was going to say was there was a scene in the trailer that showed these Jedi, like these 4 lightsabers. And I'm looking at that and I'm like, where could that be from? But it does seem like that is a flashback. I think that's a little bit of trailer trickery. Like I said, they did a great job of not giving away the plot of The Mandalorian Season 3, but they gave us visuals, and I think that's going to be a flashback. I think that's going to be when Grogu was even more of a baby, younger, even younger than he is now, and something happening at the Jedi Temple. Maybe even when Anakin attacked. I mean, there was a lot of stuff that we saw in... Well, no, let me rephrase that. There's a lot of things in Revenge of the Sith that we did not see Anakin do. It would be off screen. So that to me is interesting as well. Just to let everybody know, this will not be the final season because they already said that Season 4 is in pre-production. Season 3 will begin March 1st, 2023. Pedro Pascal, of course, is back. Now, according to the official, I guess you can call it, I don't know if you want to call it the official, but the preview for Season 3, the only information that we have here, it says here, Pedro Pascal stars the title character, bounty hunter traveling to Mandalore to redeem his past transgressions with his companion Grogu. So again, that is pretty much what we knew. He was going back to Mandalore, but we're going to see a bunch of Mandalorians. I'm hoping we actually see Mandalore once again kind of, being freed, I guess you can say. And Bo-Katan, I'm wondering what her character's going to do, because Bo-Katan was introduced in Season 2. Those of you who watched the Dave Filoni animated series, I mean, Bo-Katan. If you haven't seen those, I know some people only prefer live action. I understand that, and there's some people who don't like to watch animated stuff. I get it. I'll be honest, I don't get it. I don't think there's a difference between animated and live. I mean, it's just different art style, different style of doing something. I think we're way past the whole animation as a cartoon era. Like, I think we're way past that now, bro. Like, we're way past that. Animation, both not just American, but overseas, has proven to be just as artistic and just as a great medium as live action. But I understand it's weird for some people. If you've never seen the Clone Wars or Rebels, I would advise you to go see it. I think Clone Wars is better. Now the new show is The Bad Batch, and I have not watched Season 2 yet. I haven't even finished Season 1 yet, but when it comes to the Clone Wars, no, not every episode is perfect. There are some stinkers, but there's a lot more story, especially with Season 3 and 4, that really go into a lot of this, and you get to learn more about these characters. And of course, Rebels continues that. Ahsoka came from the Clone Wars show, among also Bo-Katan. A lot of other characters came from there. So I really wonder. Good news is that Carl Weathers is back. Grief Karga and Moff Gideon is probably going to stay as the villain. It says that he's listed as being a co-star in this show in Season 3, but we don't even know what happened to him, so I hope we do find out. Anyways, y'all, those are my thoughts on Mandalorian Season 3. Have a great weekend. I'll see you guys tomorrow for another Speakdom.